Oh, hey, man, you look good. If you lost weight, you've lost weight. You look sharp. You know what hasn't lost weight? This fat ass project that I'm working on right there. So, War Machine, here we go. 18, roll them. All right, so got my first hole drilled right here. Got my first rib nut put in there for this top hole. So now I'm gonna sit this guy up here and see how it fits. See how far I missed on the lining it up marks, because thank goodness I didn't drill them. So still got time to change, move things around, see what I can get going on here. Let's fish this guy back down through the hole. Good thing that's not painted yet, huh? All right, get my bolt. Pull this guy up here. All right, he started. All right, so just kind of right there's where I had that one marked. That's pretty good, actually. I actually nailed that one. Well, probably couldn't do that twice if my life depended on it, but I am kind of noticing now it does have my cable at a little bit of an angle. Could have moved it back a little bit more, but we're good right there. If I push the cable all the way down, it's clearing the floor real nice. Should mount it nice and solid. I'm gonna have to cut a little bit off of this bracket right here because the hood release is actually kind of hitting on the pinch weld just a little bit, so it's not gonna let it sit down flush. So I'll cut that little spot off and it should let it come on down all the way. This part right here, I'm gonna say I'm either going to have to slot my hole for my cable over this way just a little bit. Actually, I'll probably just space out, give me some longer bolts and weld some spacers onto the mount for the parking brake right here, because where the hole is in relation, the hole in the floor is in relation to the A post, it's actually a little bit farther off, like it's offset like that, so my cable's actually kind of pulling at an angle. Right now I guess it would be like that right now. So I'll have to put some spacers on there, but I should be able to get my holes drilled anyway, because I can see now. So I can go ahead and put my rib nuts in and I can get some longer bolts. That's not a problem at all. But for the most part though, that's pretty nice because it all lines up really good. Like I said, I got plenty of space to operate my emergency brake, so that's pretty exciting. I'm pretty happy about that now. This one right here is going to be really close to the pinch weld. I'm not sure. I may end up having to slot this hole just a touch, just to clear it. We'll see when the time comes. Right now I'm going to go on and drill it out and see about getting it in there. So I'm going to get this finished and move on to drilling the ones. What I'm going to do on the dash, let me show you right quick. All right, so got the holes marked on the A post for the cab, stuck it up in there the other night and marked them roughly. Now what I'm going to do basically is the same thing that I did for the parking brake. I'm going to use the top hole that I marked, and except instead of sticking the dash in and out because it's heavy, I'm actually going to take them and make me a piece of cardboard, because this did not meet up perfectly flush on either side. Really, I mean, the top was pretty close on both of them, but the bottom was a little bit off. I may or may not have to put a washer on it. I can deal with that with like a fender shim whenever I'm putting it back together. That's not a big deal because it wasn't off by much. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take a piece of cardboard, I'm going to stick it up here, I'm going to mark the hole in the cardboard, and then I'm going to, I'll mark both of them, then I'm going to stick it up on the A post on the truck to see how my holes line up, to make sure they line up good before I pop both holes. Because on the parking brake I put the one hole in, I put the parking brake in, bolted up, checked everything out and made sure that it lined up good. And that would be great to do with this, but this thing's heavy and it's hard on my back to stick it in and out of there, and I don't really like doing it that much. And it's only a matter of time when you put things in and out so many times that something gets torn up or broken, or I'm gonna mess up my brackets that I put on the firewall. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'll just mark this drill the holes in the cardboard, stick the cardboard up there, see how it lines, see if it lines up with the marks I already made. If it does, then I can put my riv nuts in on both sides and be done with it. So I'm gonna make a template. We'll be back. All right, so here we are. This is our little template that I made. It just kind of roughly traced out. This was just a oval shaped hole that was in the dash that was there. It's going to be pretty handy because if I miss my hole by a little bit, then it's not the end of the world. So basically I'm just going to I'm going to locate it, this hole with this mark right here, and hopefully this one lines up. So let's see. So, that looks pretty good. Hold it right there. Actually, it looks like I'm pretty close. So now, color my hole. Now what I did on this oblong hole that I traced off of the piece of metal that's on the dash, I just kind of hit the center of it. I used my trusty Unibit here, and I just kind of drilled through it. That way it would give me a clean hole kind of centered up right there, so that I can come back dead center on that one, dead center on that one. So should be able to drill them and be good to go. Let's see. I missed it by a little bit. Now we're back right. Alright. There's one. And I actually had to drill through like 3 pieces of metal right there, but a good Unibit will take you far. Go ahead and hit this one. There we have it. So, let me get my rib nuts and put them in there. When you get ready to do this, let me give you a little tip. They make 2 different types of rib nut guns. They make one that's like a regular pop river that you squeeze like this. For these 8mm rib nuts, these will absolutely wreck your hands if you try to do it with one of those like that. Get on a local tool truck, get you one of these. I got this from Matco. It works absolutely fantastic. It doesn't hurt your hands or anything. Works just like a window regulator rivet gun works. I would say most of you guys that are gonna attempt a project like this will already have it or know what I'm talking about anyway, know the difference. So let's see if I can get this to go through here. Yeah, so I was worried about that. Using a Unibit, oh, that one went in. Using a Unibit, obviously it's a step bit, so I might have to punch that through just a little bit deeper so I can get that all the way in. Just like that. In there like swimwear. It really gets no nicer than that right there. I mean, I can come back, paint over that, and it'll look really nice. I got a really good spot to mount all my stuff in. It's clean. I mean, I know nobody will never see it, but I got nice threads. It's not just like a screw shot into some sheet metal. It's a good strong bolt. So, going, see what I gotta do to get this top one in here. I guess maybe I can try this a little bit here, see if I can clean her out. Hopefully that got it. I'm about to find out. Oh, come on. It's right there! Not real sure. Maybe I can kind of get it out of angle here, chew this last little bit off. Maybe that got whatever was holding it. Oh yeah. There we go. Dasher screw in there good now. And you see, next time I set it in here, I'll be able to take, because both the bolts will line up on both sides, so I'll be able to take and go ahead and figure out what kind of shims I need, and I'll do it the same way that I did the parking brake cable. I'll figure out what kind of washers or shims that I need, put them on there. I'll weld them to the inside of the dasher. That way this guy just slides right into place. Put my 3 bolts across the top, 1 bolt dead in the center right here, 2 bolts on either side. Should be in here nice and sturdy, be good to go. So let's do the other side now. Same process. I'll take and make my little cardboard piece and then do the same thing we just did. So moving on. All right, so I'm to the point now where I want to lift the cab up off the frame so that I can go ahead and weld all the cross members in from the new floor to the sides right here, the inner rockers of the cab. Before I do that though, while this is all bolted together, I'm going to go ahead, you see this mount is just tacked here and here, and I think I've got one on the front on each side. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to run a bead here, I'm going to run one on the inside right in there. That'll be enough to hold both of them in place real good so they don't move once I unbolt the cab. And that way, once the cab's up off of them, I can come in, weld them real good. I'm going to have to kind of build in a little bit of metal on the top right here so it's good and strong. But that way it doesn't move, and when I set it back down on it, everything lines up nice and plays well together. So I'm going to get to welding. All right. I know most of the time y'all see me weld, I don't ever wear gloves, but I'm about to put some heat in this dude, so I'm going to go ahead and put some gloves on here so I don't burn all the hair off my fingers. In place. I'm going to spare you having to sit through me welding the other one up, but you get the idea from there. So I'm going to go weld the other one in, then next up is get this dude back up in the air and do some welding underneath it. Here we go. All right, so episode 18 is a wrap. So for those of you that wonder why I'm most obsessed about always letting you know what number episode it is and all that type of stuff, is because I hope that someone is going to watch this and want to do the same type of thing at some point at any part of this build. And if so, maybe they can look at it and gain some kind of knowledge from some of it and maybe refer back to it like, you remember on episode 18, he put those nut certs, those rib certs, those rib nuts in. And that was kind of cool how he did that instead of shooting screws in it or anything like a particular joint or how welded something together or put a floor in or something. It's easy to go back and refer to it, if nothing else, or, if you're watching this after the fact and, you started at 1 and, a month later you're like, what episode was on? Oh, I think I was on 5. So you can go back to it and refer to it. Hope you enjoy it. I hope you get something out of it. If nothing else, maybe you laugh at something I do you think is dumb, or maybe you think something I did was cool. Nonetheless, come back for 19. Thank you. If you like it, subscribe. If you got a question, hit me in the comments. Hope everybody likes it. Come back for the next one.